Welcome back to another edition of James Analyses the new coffee release at Blending Room, which this week is not necessarily a new release, it is the return of an old favourite, Pantano. If you're new here, what I do in these videos is I talk about where the coffee was sourced from, I do a deep dive into the roast analysis, I taste it and convey the flavour, and then I may give some suggestions about how you brew it at the end. If you're not new here, you know the drill, and the next bit is to talk about where it comes from. So, I have been working with Pantano the farm, which is in Brazil, for 12, 13, maybe more years, pretty much all the tenure of my business at Blending Room. I have consistently purchased the yellow Bourbon varietal, and this year the coffee is a natural process. I say that because some years I buy a pulped natural, but this year this is what was provided for me. Pantano is the engine of my business. I buy nearly a whole container of this, which is a lot of coffee for a micro roastery such as ours. It features as a single origin offering for those people who enjoy filter coffee, and it forms part of pretty much every blend that we create, and therefore has such a big impact into our commercial offering as well. So this coffee is incredibly important to me and Blending Room. We've been excited to get this back this year because it's been a little bit delayed in port. There's an awful lot that's going on in the coffee world at the minute, what with high prices and delays in shipping and containers being in the wrong place. So I'm super glad to have this back, even though it's been about 7 weeks behind schedule. Matt Silby at Falcon has helped me source this once again. He looks after the Brazil component of our portfolio and, as usual, has done great work in bringing this to us. Now that bit's done, let's talk about the roast profiles. Now I'm going to do something a little different today, and I'm going to show you two roast profiles intended for two different brew applications. One being our filter roast, and the other then being an espresso roast. And the reason why I can do this is Pantano goes out to two different buckets of customers, one being our commercial group set, and the other being those people in our retail part of the business. Commercial people are going to receive Pantano as a coffee that goes through their hoppers and espresso machines. So I will roast this coffee slightly different for that than I would do for those people who take Pantano to brew it at home, because most people brew coffee at home, with us anyway, in methods other than espresso. And because of this, I can show you the two different profiles. So on the screen now, you can see these two different roasts side by side. And the interesting thing is that both profiles follow one, a very similar mantra, and that is for our rate of rise curve and ever declining slope. There is the same heat application through time, but the difference being is that I have a shorter development time on the filter roast than I do on the espresso roast, and I achieve a lower end temperature on our filter roast than I do on our espresso roast. Now the notion behind this is that in espresso, we can expect an almost 10 times multiplier of characters within the coffee, because the coffee is nearly 10 times more concentrated than it is in a filter coffee. So therefore, if there are things like acidity present, you can imagine a 10x multiplier of that acidity. And what I try to do in the roast is smooth that acidity out somewhat so that the coffee becomes a little bit more balanced as an espresso-based brew. So I need to achieve a slightly longer roast time, a slightly higher end temperature, and in roasting terms, I take the coffee to a slightly longer development time too. Now, the example filter roast here was roasted to 9 minutes in total length, with an end temperature of 215.4 degrees Celsius and a post first crack development time of 1 minute and 30. The espresso profile was 9 minutes 38 seconds in total roast time, 2 minutes and 4 seconds as a post first crack development time, and an end temperature of 219.4. And those differences are key to me to present the roast differently for espresso than I would do as filter. The approach in the heat profile is very similar, albeit once I've got through first crack on the filter roast, I taper energy away quicker than I would do with the espresso roast profile. Both batches have an ever declining rate of rise curve, and subsequently both roast profile curves i.e. the temperature curves over time have a very similar trajectory and also have a very similar look as well. Right, profile's done, let's have a taste. And for reference, I'm going to be tasting the filter batch that I had in that profile now. Because I've said a filter batch, I've done a filter batch brew. I really enjoy bulk brewed filter coffee, and that's where I think these coffees really open up. I drink it so often, it gives me a reference point. And when you're tasting things, having a reference is so important to understanding your whole olfactory system and understanding how that then transfers into flavor and emotion and all those sorts of things. Anyway, let's get into the first taste. Okay, so the first thing that hits you with this is a little tickle of orange. It's so polite, it's so delightful. It's there and it just gives the coffee structure. Even Brazil coffees can have acidity. I say that because coffees from Brazil get such a bad rep, but stonking 83.5 point coffees such as this do such a wonderful job. And they have acidity, and acidity is prized in specialty coffee. So, orange acidity first. Next bit, what's the mid-cut profile? Well, it's like creamed hazelnuts. Now, our importers, we receive an offer list. Offer lists are lists of coffees that are available for us to purchase. And on there, the traders will put flavor descriptors, Q-graders will have cupped the coffee, and they put flavor descriptors down. It helps them market the coffee to us roasters. On it, I noted for this particular coffee, they put Ferrero Rocher, and it bloody well is. It's absolutely like Ferrero Rocher in the cup. You know, that creamy, gooey center and the crusty, hazelnutty, chocolatey thing. Oh, what a delight. So if you enjoy that type of nutty deliciousness, Pantano is going to be one for you to try. So what about the finish? Yeah, just chocolate. Lovely, sort of 45% cocoa mass chocolate. What do they call that? Dark milk? I don't know. Something like that. It's wonderful. It's so well balanced. It's clean for a natural process Brazil. It's discernibly orange, nut and chocolate, and is just such a great entry point into specialty coffee. So this does everything I want in the coffee. A little bit of acidity, lots of character, and a nice finish as well. So how would I brew it at home? Well, anyway, you can brew this as espresso, you can brew this as filter coffee. Look, I've got a batch brew here. Have it as a cafetiere, brew it in a stovetop mocha pot. Brew it in any one of those fancy filter things that are coming to the market today. Have it as an AeroPress. Drink it outdoors, drink it indoors, drink it anywhere you want. It is stunning. And on that bombshell, I think I should wrap up. That has been Pantano. Anyway, I hope that has been a useful insight into Pantano, the product. If you have any comment on this presentation, if you'd like to know a little bit more about things, do put them in the comments below. The coffee is available to purchase online now. You can pick that up from me at Beverley Market on Saturday. I'm there between 8 and 4, come wind, rain or shine. And of course, we're open at the roastery between 9 and 5, Monday to Friday. I hope you have a great week ahead. Enjoy your coffee. Cheers.